everyone. This is episode 99 of Noodle Time. Welcome back. Here with me is the Search Roadie, OSG. How's it going, sir?
What's going on, bro? Nothing much. Just getting ready for the trip this weekend to DC. So excited about that. I'm in vacation mode. So I'm excited. No more work for the rest of the week.
Nice. No, I wish I was in that same boat, but I'm currently just stuck at work watching Euros and starting tomorrow Copa America. And no, that grind's gonna be insane, especially the weekends when those tournaments are going on. Also MLS, NWSL, MLS Next Pro. I don't know. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, honestly. It's gonna be an absurd amount of soccer. It's gonna be crazy.
Hey, it's fun. No, Euros is taking place of your Premier or your Spanish league, and then you got Copa, like you said. So MLS still going along. Leagues Cup coming up soon. So you got also NWSL rolling along. Women's Leagues Cup coming up as well. So yeah, man, plenty of soccer going around, and like you said, it's all pretty damn close too. So we can attend in person if we wanted to.
No, yeah, these next couple of weeks are going to be insane, and it's pretty much just going to be like that until the Olympics and Leagues Cup happening at the same time. So it's just insane, insanity all around. But well, yeah. So this episode in particular, of course, as you can probably tell, we're getting close to 100, and that's crazy. But it's still going to be a big episode either way, because we have to all talk about not just 4 games, but also the big news that happened this week involving Ezequiel Ponce, which we'll get to talk about a little bit after our review. And we're going to be separating this episode into 2 parts. We're currently recording after the Dynamo game against Seattle, and we'll continue out on Sunday after all the games. So a big weekend for sure. Hopefully it doesn't hit 2 hours, but we'll see.
Hey, it's all right. We'll just hit her.
Yeah.
We got a draw, so that'll cut that one down some. So we'll see what happens.
Right. No, but yeah. And with that out of the way, let's get into it. Like I just said just now, Houston Dynamo coming off a 2-2 draw against the Seattle Sounders on Wednesday night, Juneteenth. I was watching the broadcast, the celebrations. It seemed nice, the halftime show and all that. Soccer-wise, a tale of 2 halves again. I will say this though. When I kept saying just like a tale of 2 halves, like this game in particular, there were more positives than negatives. But my main negative is just the fact that an opportunity here was wasted to get a win. For me, it's unacceptable. And they're gonna have to earn more points one way or another, like on the road even.
We didn't rotate when expected to, so we're playing our best 11. Obviously, Coco's gone, so put Blessing in. You're not complaining that Blessing's getting the start now. The lineup looks a little different because Blessing played on the right. Bossy pushed a little more into the middle with Coco missing. Seattle rotated everything. They rotated their entire team pretty much. So you're like, okay, opportunities here to get to 3 points at home and get a dub. And then the whistle blew, and the game was kind of stagnant, but both teams trying to figure it out, and you're like, what's going on here? Seattle doesn't want to play, and Houston just not getting good shots off. They're getting opportunities, but not getting good shots off to start this game. So I don't know, man. With the way that Ben played the lineup, his best 11 is we're going to call it, because it's his best 11. You expect to see that lineup if that's what you're looking forward to. So I did expect us to get a win at home. Seattle is coming off a good win against Minnesota. We're not playing the best at home this year, but yeah, I was expecting us to get a dub out of this and get 3 points. But early first half, like you said, and then 2 different tells. So, but can't complain about the lineup. Like it a little bit different with Blessing playing on the right. Obviously, Blessing's Blessing and still being dangerous. So I like it. Nothing to, there's plenty to complain about too at the same time with all the positives.
Just to start the game, really, Seattle was the first team that started pushing for the first goal, and it only took a while for Houston to at least balance things out up until the 30th minute. And I was definitely worried because one of the teams that I was definitely concerned about, like for example, Adrian Heath, well, back when he was Minnesota United, it's definitely Brian Schmetzer with the Seattle Sounders because I don't know if you noticed, but like historically, you could probably say like the last 4 or 5 years, like Brian Schmetzer has figured us out like almost every time, and like you could say this was another example. Although there were definitely uglier games that Houston played against Seattle, and like early on, I was like, yeah, it might be one that like that kind of game for us. We have to pretty much adapt, get back into the game, and not let Seattle like any gaps, any defensive gaps, or just like our main issue this year, which has been just our individual mistakes. And early on, the first time it was showing like that, uh, but after that, fortunately, like things even out, and Houston was able to start doing some magic.
Yeah, after the slow start and Dynamo, claimed to press. They don't press well as a team, so sometimes accidents happen. So you, that kind of turned to the tide. Seattle bit themselves in the butt, and that's how we scored. Second time, Seattle bit themselves in the butt, and we countered pretty fast. And let's give a shout out to Liu. He started off the game pretty bad. He was making mistakes. He was passing the ball wrong and losing the ball. But a couple opportunities there, he played the right ball. He played the assist to Blessing. He played a. He made a couple right decisions to get himself involved. There was another one where he made a cross, but it missed Seba. So Aliyu with a 50-50 game here this time. But in the first half, slow start for him, but hey, granted, he was making some runs down the wing and he decided to take on the defender a couple of times. I think he's starting to pull back a little bit too much, but instead of that friggin' shot coming that he would have taken yesterday, he gets a little cross off and there's Blessing with a beautiful header, and that was the second one. So
Second goal, yeah,
Blessing with the finding the first one, and it was nice movement to get the ball around to even get the ball into the box, and Bossy kind of got lucky, and he was smart enough instead of shooting just to chip it, and there's Blessing right there, and Blessing. I think he kind of brain fart. He was expecting the ball to be high enough, but then realized it was too low, so he just kind of went down with his chest instead of just touching it and standing up
yeah,
and touching it in. But it's not first half nice movement. You're like, okay, playing these kids, we're outplaying these kids, we're dominating these kids, we're not letting Jordan Morris even touch the friggin' ball. So all right, I'm happy. Even though it was a slow start with the Dynamo, Seattle still wasn't doing nothing besides that first little push they had to start off the game. So, I like what they did. Bossy had a better vision today, especially when things started to get rolling. They're going in, still talking about first half, of course. So it was nice to see Sabah making runs, but not involved very much. Hector doing Hector things, just moving the ball around. Dorsey, you see, like, hey, they were going to give him a little room to run, and he was trying to make some opportunities there. So it was nice to see. I like the first half. Like you said, there was a bunch of positives.
yeah. Pretty much after the 30-minute mark, like the next 50 minutes were just gonna be great, and I feel like they could have probably scored like another goal or two, aside from the two that they scored. Um, and yeah, like they look pretty good. They look pretty solid. It looked like they figured things out. Um, and yeah, especially Aliyu was just like all over the field after like late in the first half. Like he was just like the one making all the plays, and he also had the shot in particular where he I feel like he could have got a decent chance to score, but he was like blocked up like off the head by one of the defenders.
Mm, yeah.
And like he was involved too. You just said like you said earlier on, he kind of looked Aliyu, like Aliyu being Aliyu again, but he was involved this game in the first half for the most part. But yeah,
Yeah, and then like you said, you were hoping for that third goal, there opportunity to have a third or even a fourth, so 2-0 going into halftime. but you were not comfortable with that 2-0 lead, especially knowing what Seattle had on the bench and expecting them to make them subs to put those players in. They had 4 starters on the bench, and they're attacking players and goal scorers, and so you know Seattle's going to try to come back into this game, and 2-0 lead at halftime. You're happy with the performance, but you're content with, okay, we got 45 to go still, and then that second half whistle blew, and you're like, you just want to start crying. It did
Right.
it did start off the same though in the second half at first, so, but can't capitalize. You couldn't capitalize. So, but I like all the positives until minute 53, I guess, is when the game turned.
At 58, but yeah, pretty close. And yeah, second half will start, and Seattle will get the first goal of the 58th minute. And look, I would say like the goal, it was kind of like a lucky break because the player that scored was able to beat Mikael, and he shot it straight to Steve Clark. But the shot was like so powerful, it bounced off Steve Clark, and he was able to get the rebound again to score. And I was like, man, that's unlucky, but still, like, come on, like, I don't want this.
Well, yeah, and let's rewind back to the front of that play right there, man. And Mikael, that's not Mikael's job to put a leg up and try to win the ball in the air. It's his job as a center back defender to take his body in to go through the ball and win that ball right there. And if he would have done that, he would have won that ball, or he would have got fouled. I know you kind of want to avoid injury, but I think it was just as much dangerous as sticking your leg up. And the Seattle guy got there first. Whatever his friggin' name is, forget his name. I was heard it enough during the show from Glenn Davis, but Mikael should have ran through that. So it shouldn't have been that situation where Steve was come on. And so Steve made the block on the first 1v1. And unfortunately, like you said, it was a hard shot. It deflected right back to the shooter who put it back in the net. And so, boom, 2-1. And even like Glenn said, like, here you go. Now you have a game again. And sure shit not. You had a game again.
Yeah, and 5 minutes later, they will just score the equalizer off a set piece. And not happy about this goal in particular because it's another set piece and something that I'm sure the team ran like several drills on. And I think the player was able to like get his foot on the play to just put the ball on the other side of the goal. And it was upsetting because it happened in the span of 5 minutes, those 2 goals, and I was like, yeah, we just wasted all the momentum for that. And I'm like, no.
All right. Let's rewind back to the start of this freaking play again. And it's just like you said, it's a set piece. So players are running into the box and you're looking for the ball to come out of the air. You're looking to defend it or you're looking to shoot it. Oh, come on, bro. When you watch the replay, both backdoor runners were wide open. And you saw that clear as day whenever you saw it live. Like, boom, this dude's wide the friggin' open. And there was another dude right behind him wide open too. So you watch the replay and it's Escobar's man, and Escobar stopped running and let his man run. Right next to him is Aliu doing the exact same thing, lets his man run. The goal is scored, and then you immediately you see Aliu pointing to Escobar. Snitch, 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 snitch. So see Aliu pointing to Escobar. But so I'm gonna throw blame on Escobar and Aliu. Like, I mean, especially Escobar. It was your guy. You're a defender. You know what your job is to do here on this set piece. Especially since you're a defender. You gave up on the play. You let your dude run free, and bad judgment on you if you thought that ball was going somewhere else. But free run. Seattle scores, they deserve it. That's what happens when you have a mental lapse and you give up on the play. So Seattle deserves it. 2-2. 58 minute. Seattle's making subs, bringing in more firepower. You're like, oh Jesus Christ, can we survive the rest of this game, man?
Yeah, and that's when I would say like probably 5 minutes later, 6 minutes later, we'll start subbing our players. And our first sub was Sebas, and and he was coming in for Blessing, which Blessing was on a brace already, and I felt like he was gonna he could have been more involved, probably through the 90 minutes, but then we're going back to the main issue of rotating players. We have a game on the weekend. We have to distribute the minutes and all that, which I can definitely get. But at the same time, just look at Sebas, just being like that savior to get the game back in our favor, and it's kind of like I'll have to see it to believe it. And yeah,
Well, the sub there I would have made would have been for Elias. I was surprised it was Blessing.
yeah,
Blessing was creating, and there's no reason to pull him off. Yeah, you're saving for minutes for DC. Well, what about Elias? He's an everyday starter too, so you could have been saving minutes for him as well. So that's the sub I would have made, and then I would have pushed Seba outside to that position with Sebas in the middle. Bossy stays where he was playing. He's saying, and Blessing stays where he was on the outside, and boom, you still get what you can expect because Seba can still play that wing role out there where he's out in the space. He understands how Ben plays the formation and the style and the tactics. So that's the substitution I would have made. I have another thing about Sebas. We'll come back to that a little bit here in a minute.
yeah. And after that, we still were swapping players like over the next 5 or so minutes. Particularly, we made like 3 substitutions in the 79th minute, towards the 80th minute. Those being Stairs for Franco Escobar. Brooklyn Reigns actually coming in for Bossy, and Bartlow coming in for Mikael. And this game, I mentioned kind of earlier that it was like a tale of two halves, and there were definitely more positives than previous games this year. And I mentioned that because it it pretty much looked like Houston was still in the game and trying to get the third goal, and they're creating all those opportunities. Given we still don't have a striker to put all those chances away or like to assist the team, since it's pretty much just like Fossey going down and finding the shot, or like, just trying to see who's open inside the box. But still, like these chances were being created. I was still engaged with the game. Like Houston was trying to get back in it, and yeah, it's not as bad. It's not as bad as I make it sound earlier. It's just that we have to put those chances away eventually.
Yeah, got to put him away, and Bossy needs to go out and practice shooting because it seems he's on
Yeah,
repeat mode with all his shots going way over the top of the bar. Even Glenn Davis mentioned it tonight on during the game how his shots always go just up, just up, just up and away. So Bossy, come on, bro. Like, let's just start working on placement instead of power because obviously you can't control your power and you're just friggin' blasting them to the moon. So come on, bro. Uh, I'm okay with those substitutions they made. Obviously, like you said, these are minute saving for DC, and they're good rotating players, anyways. Substitution I would have made different was Brad Smith instead of Tate Schmidt. So would have had that left-footed crossing coming in, more of attacking than Tate Smith. I don't need the defensive guy. You're trying to win the game 3-2, not trying to salvage 2-2. So I would have put Brad in right there instead of Tate. But oh well, Tate didn't do nothing wrong. He did get a couple crosses off. So yeah, woo, friggin' draw 2-2, man.
no, yeah, yeah. You mentioned it. Like Tay was the one that came out for Griffin Dorsey, and we should probably close with the last chance of the game for the Dynamo, which it was, I think, in the last 2 minutes of stoppage time, because it looked like Ali was able to set up Sebas, but I don't think Sebas was expecting like that cross really quickly and wasn't ready to tap it in inside the goal. But at the same time, it's kind of like you're already in front. You should know where you are as well as your teammates inside the box that try to set you up. And I just felt like for me, like if he was like closer to the ball, I felt like he could have just lightly raised his leg to tap in the third goal, and that would have changed the story for sure in a good way. But that didn't happen.
Yeah, absolutely. He could have slid forward. He could have done something. Like you said, I don't think he didn't expect it, and he didn't react. So he probably was like, "Oh, God, you got to be kidding me! I'm messed this one up too." So yeah, it was a nice flick from Aliyu right there to where it was supposed to be. Sebas would have reacted. It's an easy goal. That's the winner. That's the game. Boom, boom, 3-2. So speaking of Sebas as well, the team is now. He is a striker. He is a 9. Okay, we're not playing with a 9. We haven't been playing with a 9. We've been playing with a false 9. Sebas been playing that false 9, and really Seba and Bossi are kind of like two moons, and they're just rotating with each other. So you see Seba making more runs than Bossi direct towards goal. That's why you see Seba up more often. But Seba technically is starting as that striker, but he's playing a false 9. So it's like we have two cams playing in a forward position, and they just kind of rotating. But so Seba comes in, and that's all out the window right now. Now Seba's playing he's playing a striker, and he's going to be that center back's going to be glued to him, and so that's a question that I think has been asked to Ben or needs to be asked to Ben. I believe it has been asked, but so you're typically used to playing with a false 9 and playing that style. Can the team adjust whenever you do have a striker playing at that 9 position? I.e., you do have Ponce coming in, Ponce coming in to the team later, who is a striker, and we'll be playing that a little bit different. So can the team adjust? And when Sebas was in the game, they did play a lot of balls to his feet, and he had great control, and he was trying to get it back to the next people. But there was actually several opportunities where the ball should have been crossed. Just put the ball in the box. Sebas is there. There was actually another Dynamo player, and each time when I was looking up, like, why wasn't that ball played? I think it was Stairs was a couple times on the right side. So that's a little something different. Dynamo have to adjust and realize, okay, now we got a striker playing. It's going to look a little bit different. We can put balls into the box now through crosses. We don't have to dribble our way into the box. So that's something I saw. That's something that needs to be worked on. Hopefully, DC, it'll be two different styles, because when Sebas gets subbed in DC, it'll make another change. Hopefully, the team can adjust. Hopefully, it's not in a situation where we're just trying to salvage the game and get a win or salvage a draw. But I don't know, man. I don't know if what do you think about that?
No, it's something to consider, especially against DC. We're gonna need all the chances we can get, and defensively speaking, we just have to play. We need to play a sound game, because we're gonna face one of the best strikers in the league right now in terms of goals scored. Obviously, that being Christian Benteke, and it's gonna take a complete game to get a result out of DC. Like DC, they may not look like that on the table per se, but they're very threatening. Extremely.
Yeah, they don't look well right now. They're not playing well. They lost to Atlanta today at home, so they are coming off a loss at home. They are staying at home, so they're going to be a little more rested than we are. We're obviously having to travel on Friday to get to DC after a training session Friday morning. But I'm not worried. I think the boys will be ready. They're training properly. Uh, Ben could rotate somebody here and there. I would have liked to seen Range get the start today. It's okay that he didn't, but I'd like to see him get a little more playing time. So it's nice to see him do get some. But it'll be interesting to see what Ben does on Saturday. I probably expect a lot of the same lineup as well. As far as it goes with starting, might be a change here or there. I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to fly over there to find out.
Yeah, we'll find out soon enough later in this episode, and just whenever we talk about the future. But for now, we're just gonna go ahead and talk about the big news of the week before this game. And we've been talking a little bit about that in the last episode, but we're just waiting for the official announcement. But it's finally here. Ezequiel Ponce was signed from AK Athens on a club record transfer fee as our next designated player. And
undisclosed.
The fee's undisclosed, but my main reaction was like, Ted Siegel broke our transfer record twice in the last few years, and you see the amount of investment he's already put on this team for that span of time. It's insane, and I started following this team around 2012, which was right around the start of our bad years ahead with
It's
our previous
your
ownership,
fault.
and my start, like pretty much like the start, like after 2013, things go south.
No.
But still, like
Your start was also losing the cup back to back before we went into that 10 years of turmoil. So,
it all started with me.
yeah.
It all started with me. I
Yeah.
know. I'm tired of being the center of attention.
Are you a
But no,
former LA Galaxy fan?
I hope not.
Beckham?
No.
Beckham? All right. I'll leave you alone.
No, no, but yeah, like even if you just been like a fan that recently has been following the team a little bit before Testigo took over, you see the amount of money that he's put in, and it's insane, incredible. And of course, like he brought in Sebas Ferreira, he brought in Hector Herrera, pretty much on a free transfer, which is insane because like the salary situation is different, so we're still paying him. And also, he brings in Ezequiel Ponce to break the transfer record again. No words, but you see the investment right there. You see the ownership is working, and the scouting department, and of course the all all the work that Pat Onstad and National Military are doing to keep this team consistent and dangerous as much as possible, and not just like blowing money away.
Yeah.
Like it's pretty much just a process. That's why it's taking a while for us to do it, because if you have that money, you have to spend it like correctly. You can just like buy it a $20 million designated player and expect to be like the best striker in the league. It takes time, and you have to assess if that player belongs to the project. And it looks like that's going to be the case. But I want to hear what you think of OSG, because that's a big signing, of course.
Yeah. All right, man. Let's run through. Pat Onstad went on to Glenn Davis yesterday, as a matter of fact, and that being Tuesday, and talked about this signing in particular. So Ponce is a pressing striker. So that's a benefit to Ben's style. We do want to press. So as I talked about earlier in the show, the press doesn't look good with the Dynamo. You can tell they're trying to press, but they don't press as a team very well. So, you could be pressing, but then they get out because there's not someone pressing right here in this position, blah, blah, blah. So it's going to give us a little more higher pressing and allow the team to, fix those triangles. Boom. So good. He's a competitor. So the team may be winning and he may be fighting to score goals or get that first goal. So he's gonna they said he's a fighter, but he'll fight for the team. So it's nice that he's gonna come in. He's a competitor. He's 27 years old too, so fits the mold. He's not a project. You've got enough analytics. You got enough video on him. He's played enough. Ben approves. So Pat said that he took a list of players to Ben and said, "Hey, boom, 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 boom." And Ben said, "Okay, let's take a look at these." And yeah, well, maybe, but let's start over here. So, and that's what Pat kind of said. He started, and this is they were able to find, and that goes to the analytics department that played a big role in finding this player, the scouting, everything like that. Asher went to Athens and met with the team. It was unclear if he actually met with Ezequiel at all. So we'll have to maybe figure that out at a later time. But we're able to get the guy across the line. So before I give a few more pointers, I don't know if you wanted to counteract any of those points that Pat was talking about previously. Pressing striker, competitor, how the analytics took the big part. Asher was the one who went to Greece to visit and to see him, and just how much he fits the mold. He's a Ben striker.
No, like it's a big investment, not just for the amount of the transfer fee, which, like we mentioned, it's we don't know the exact amount since it wasn't disclosed, but we just know that it's a club record. But
Probably over $7 million.
Most likely, and I wouldn't be surprised if it's like around that range either. But But yeah, I like to wait to see if like an actual source is able to like find that exact amount. But still, like you just see the details of the contract itself, and you can tell right away that they he they believe in this player, and because we have him up until June of 2027 with options through the rest of that year and 2028. So we pretty much could be seeing him for like the next 5 years, and
Three,
it's insane.
yeah, 3.5 years with the option 20, 28, 27, 26, and 25 is four and a half years. So man,
Yeah,
that's crazy. So he's obviously a uh, what is it? An investment, like you said. That's a pure investment to offer him that much. So, and the guy who's traveled for the past 4 years to a different team. I think he was with Greece for 2 seasons now, but so he's been traveling because his team kept loaning him out, and he ended up in Greece. But uh, so he is still on vacation. They're still trying to work out visa. They don't fear that they'll have any issues with visas. So likely that July 1st will be when he starts training with the team. And then July 18th is when the window technically opens to where you can put this person on your roster. We play on the 17th, so we can't play that game. But then July 20th in Vancouver, it will be our last MLS game before League's Cup. So, and he did say that is the target debut in Vancouver, because Glenn even asked about League's Cup, and Pat goes, well, hold on, we still have at Vancouver, on July 20th. So expect Ponce to be with the team about 3 weeks training, getting familiar, set in, and then debut on the 20th against Vancouver, whether that be a start or coming off the bench pretty early in the second half. Yet to be seen, and I'm sure as we get closer, someone will ask that question and piss Ben off. Herman,
yeah,
your own call, brother, your own call. But also another thing Pat mentioned while he was in that conversation with Glenn was that Sebas is healthy, and now it's his window. you know, he does have a month to find some good quality soccer in there, to get into the team, and then when Ponce comes here, obviously he'll be a backup role and still come off the bench. But if he can still get some good kind of form and get involved with the team while he's healthy now, it'll be a benefit to him and a benefit to his game and a benefit to the team. And so that's something that Pat also said is like, it's Sebas's window right now. So a lot to look forward to, and it's exciting times. So thanks for being patient, fans, and trusting the process, and let Pat cook. Some things take longer to cook than others.
and one thing that I also wanted to add, this is a question that David from Dynamo Fan TV asked on Twitter to Asher, was the roster situation, because I believe up to that point we weren't able to add a designated player because all three spots were filled, and the technical answer, because David asked if Eric Svechenko was brought down because initially he was listed as a designated player, and we already knew at that point like he had the ability to buy for that player getting bought down, so he's no longer like a designated player, and that turned out to be the case. So he's able to join. He's able to fill out the designated player spot with it because of that.
And let's clarify that Eric being the designated player did not hinder us going and signing a designated player. The plan was always to buy down Eric
Yeah,
once we found our DP and be like, okay, we're signing this guy. Hey, buy down Eric. Okay, here's your contract. Thank you. So I don't know what the difference would have been saving and waiting, just making sure. I guess there's a benefit for salary or whatever, gap or whatever. But so yeah, like you said, Eric was bought down, but it didn't hinder us going out and finding a DP. What hindered us was just trying to was just getting the players across the board. And I think Pat didn't say this out loud, but it kind of sounded like he didn't. There was opportunities, but he didn't want to overpay. So somebody that just didn't
yeah,
check all the boxes, and he ended up passing. So I want to make sure that the people that are listening that that please understand that's probably a very likely that Pat could be a little tight at the same time. But he's looking for the guy that fits before he brings him in. Sebas isn't working out, and Pat was the one who brought in Sebas. We're 3 coaches past the guy who was here, or 2 coaches. Yeah, 3 coaches who passed whenever, because I guess you can count Kenny Bundy, whatever. It's, just that. But, I digress. Take the floor, sir.
No, I cannot wait to see Ezequiel Ponce play already, and the potential of adding a on-22 player pretty soon.
Yeah.
There's also the opportunity as well, and depending on what happens with the situation surrounding Sebas Ferreira, we could also open up the designated player slot that he's occupying right now, and things can go crazy. But
all right,
I'm being optimistic right there.
Okay. All right, good. I was going to say, let's clarify that. Sebas isn't going nowhere this season at all, unless somebody does come calling for some reason, which is highly unlikely somebody's going to come calling, okay? Boom. He's staying with us, and he's going to be on the bench for the rest of the friggin' season. We're not going to buy him out. Nobody's going to come a-calling. We probably won't loan him out either, so don't worry about that. Now, next season comes, his contract's a little bit cheaper. Now, possibly you can buy him out. Also, you have the rest of this season where he could try to find some kind of form and show that he is some type of striker that can still play in some type of system, and somebody will catch eyes to it. But he's got to get out there and show that he can still play the game and score some goals and put some goals behind his net and create that highlight package to go out there and sell himself, because that's where it's at. Dynamo can't sell him no more. We're out of options. So boom, that's the Sebas. There was another point you made, and I was gonna add to it, but I forgot what it was. So I went off Sebas right there.
On 22 player?
Oh, yeah. So, yes, it was not distinguished if there was going to be a U22 player or what it was going to be, but Pat did mention more to come. He's out there looking for a winger. He's out there looking for speed. He's out there looking for right back depth as well. And he did mention, yes, I know we do have Franco Escobar over there too. But you have plenty of left backs. You have Stairs too that can play right back. So I don't know what the special need for a right back depth is. But he did say an attacking right back as well. So it'll be basically a prototypical Dorsey. We're bring in a backup Dorsey to beat Dorsey when Dorsey needs to take a friggin' break. But he did say winger. He did say speed. He did say a little quality, but he wasn't specific on U22 or what it was. He just say we'll go out there and look. So doors are open. The windows is gonna be open here in July 18th. So it'll be curious to see what comes across the line for this window, man. But y'all be ready. Pat is cooking.
Yeah.
And it's not just a straight up entree. Yeah. Gonna have a whole full meal here.
Pat's cooking. Well, go Pat. Go Dynamo. Go Sebas Ferreira. Go Ezequiel. Like it's gonna be insane. I'm looking forward to it.
I'm ready, bro. Okay, so this game's over. I'm ready to hop on the plane tomorrow and fly out to DC. I'm gonna enjoy the weekend. Check in, on Twitter. Y'all obviously see it, and I'm gonna fly back down, and I'll see you right back here, like we never left, right?
Yeah. And with that, that was gonna be the first part of the episode, and now we'll get to the second part in a bit.
See you soon.
Alright, guys, so we are back recording on Monday after a busy week of soccer. We're not continuing with the Dynamo talk because I have OSG here that just got off the plane from DC, and we need to put the spotlight on OSG to tell us what the hell happened. What just happened? I need you to tell me right now.
Bro, how long do you have? That trip was insane. It was fun. Hanging out with the Surge, the travelers that went to support the team, the sites, the Capitol, the White House, the monuments, the Lincoln Memorial, the game itself. Oh yeah, the flight back, a friggin' 5 hour delay, which was friggin' ridiculous. They never said what it was, so don't know what the delay was for. But yeah, I got back at 1 o'clock in the morning on Monday morning. So, but it was all worth it. This trip was fun. It's like had a blast from the moment we got there. Just everything to do. So I recommend go see DC. Maybe next time Dynamo go back or Astros play the Nationals or whatever, go check out DC. It's worth it. It's worth the trip, and it was fun. And chilling at the Surge House as well.
And the good news is you got the day off today too, so no issues with work or anything, which is great.
Yeah. I mean, I would have called in regardless. But yeah, I had the day planned off, so I don't have to call in and be like, oh well, no, I'm not even in town yet. Yeah, there was one guy. I wasn't the last, man. I wasn't the last of the 10 of us. There was one more that was last, and he had a whatever, he had to go to Chicago then to Houston, and he missed his flight in Chicago because he missed his flight or didn't miss his flight. His flight was delayed in DC, and DC airport sucks, bro. Like it's so little. Like the entrance is right there. 5 minutes you're through security, and then I could turn around and walk right back out. And like I could do a little loop. Like so, like if I drove a car, it'd take me 3.4 seconds to get from the front entrance to the back entrance. Like wow. But yeah, whatever. I had fun, bro. DC was a friggin' blast, and the dub on top of it, and working the event as well.
Yeah, I did visit DC when I was back in middle school, and it's an insane city, especially just to get to know more about it. Just being the nation's capital, of course, it has like a lot of historic value, and I highly recommend for sure. And it kind of sucks that I wasn't able to make this trip because the search pretty much is planned on traveling to that game specifically. Um, and no, yeah, like for my perspective into the game, because as you guys were following up on social media and all that, you could have like both the Dash and Dynamo games were happening at the same time, and like in the East Coast it was 7:30, and our time it was 6:30 kickoff on Saturday, and I couldn't. I wasn't able to like watch both games at the same time since I was at the stadium watching the Dash game, and and because of that, I was just relying on the notifications and all that. And I see like during the first half for the Dynamo game, like the DC scores first, and I was like, "Oh boy, I wonder what happened." And since I'm also like on Twitter on my computer in the press box, I see that Benteke scored a penalty, and it wasn't really a penalty, which we'll get into later. And I was like, "Oh, whatever." And then during the Dash game, I see one notification of Houston scoring, and it was Sebas, and I was like, all right. All right. It will be nice if we get like a couple more goals, so yes, at least one more, just to get his confidence going. I get no notification was saying that Sebas scored a second goal, and I was like, "What? Second goal for Sebas right now? There's no way. It has to be like a mistake from the app." And then I get a third goal notification saying that Sebas scored a third goal, and I was like, "A hat trick." Like OSG must be going insane right now. And I was watching the Dash game and I was like, I want to know what's going on in DC. Like, what?
Hey, no, you had to choose your fate. I wanted to know what was going on with the Dash game, but I could not pay no attention. So you were trying to pay attention. I could not pay no attention to what was going on with the Dash. I was focused on what was going on in DC, and I'm trying to notify you, I guess, what's going on.
Yeah.
And yes, it's driving me insane because I cannot emote because I'm in the press box, and this press box was legit. It was a nice sized press box. There was probably DC probably had just 20 different personnel covering this game over there. There was a lot of people there covering DC, and there was me and I don't know who the other guy there was for covering Houston, but they didn't react at all during this game, so I appreciate them. They follow the code of conduct in the press box, but yeah, so driving me insane, I could not react because that game was a roller coaster of a game. How that game was going, but the way the ref was calling the game against DC and for us, and then just and the penalty kick that was questionable, yes, and then Benteke scored, and in the second half, you just turn it around and you score 4 freaking goals. So yeah, it was a roller coaster of a game, and it was friggin' it was a fun game, even though the first half was boring, and you're waiting for something to happen.
No, yeah, and we could probably start like just before we get into the hat trick. We can probably start with the lineup because, of
Start.
course, one.
You already announced the hat trick, so what do you mean start?
No,
All right,
yeah,
I
like
want to hear. I do want to hear
big
the
news.
lineup, though. I do want to hear the lineup now that we've scored 3 goals and we're up 3-1. So go ahead, tell me the lineup.
No, yeah, like it's of course Sebas getting another chance to start
Which
and
was huge, bro. Which
pre-hat
was
trick.
huge. But yeah, sorry, but I'll let you have it. Huge that he got the start. We weren't sure if he was going to start or not. We knew he was healthy, but Ben doesn't still maybe trust him or not. Was he going to start or was Sebas going to start? And then we saw the starting lineup and Sebas got to start. So we're like, okay, here's his window. Here's his window. Even the fans I was interviewing prior to the game and trying to get predictions from, a few of them, even me myself in the predictions prior, we're like talking about Sebas. This is his window and he needs to perform. We talked about it in the last episode, or actually talking about it running into this part of the episode after Seattle. Sebas's window. Can he perform? And it was great to see that he got the start. And now we just wonder what's going to happen after the whistle.
So yeah, for me it was big, and granted I didn't really expect a hat trick, but I expected a decent performance from Sebas because just heading into this game, DC is not a good team this year. They're going through a rough period. Like even though they have Benteke, which is one of the league's highest scoring players, and yeah, they're having a pretty tough time in the Eastern Conference. I expected Houston to at least put a good performance to get them 3 points or a point, and and not to get ahead of myself, but they managed to do it. The other thing that we kind of discussed previously was the fact that they started rotating out players just to distribute the playing time. And Daniel Steres actually got the start in the back line as a fullback, while Escobar was coming off the bench. And I like Steres as a fullback.
Steres deserved that start. His parents traveled as well, who I like to say met his parents in my you met well yeah you met well I met his no you didn't, that's right, sorry, you weren't at the same motel, damn it, forget who was all with me. But anyways, met his parents at the same motel in Miami for the Open Cup championship, and then I ran into him here, and I tapped, and like they turned and like they remembered. So I was like, shout out to them. They remembered when I tapped on them. They're like, oh, just another person's coming bothering me in the freaking stadium. But they're great people, and they travel from California, so they were all the way to DC. Steres get to start, played the full freaking 90 or almost the full freaking. Yeah, I think he played almost the full 90, right? And then his performance is just his performance the whole season has been above par. Like if I was like Foot Mob, I think his performance at least be a 7 right now, and just across the board. And he doesn't make mistakes. He does make dangerous opportunities in the attack every now and then, gets a header here and there off a corner or off a set piece. He is aggressive. He's Daniel Steres, who's been a veteran player for long. You're like, okay, well, here comes the slow old guy in. But no, bro, he brings the energy and the effort, and he deserves every minute he gets. And Escobar still got to play in the game too as well. But shout out to Escobar, shout out to his parents. Ooh, I hope to Steres. I hope to see those stickers, man, bro. I gave you.
No, and he did play a pretty good game. That
Yes.
regardless of how weak the opposing team was, like he did play full 90, and he took advantage of that time. And since we already mentioned Franco Escobar, he was like subbed on at the 81st minute in the second half, so he didn't get like a lot of playing time. Granted, he's playing almost every game, so he could use that rest. And of course the usual players, and the last player that I want to highlight was, since Coco is out for Copa America for like the next few weeks, depending on how far Panama make it out. it's pretty much just gonna be the Latif Blessing show now,
Yeah,
and I'm definitely okay with that. No complaints.
no complaints whatsoever. And he was okay in this game too. So he didn't score, which might have been a surprise. But hey, you're like, okay, Coco's out. Blessing should start. Everybody said that. I'm pretty sure 99.9% of everybody said Coco should start. Maybe somebody should said Seba, because Sebas is getting the start at striker. Seba could maybe go out there and play out there. But Blessing's the guy. He's hot, bro. He's in form. And, so he still continued well. He had a good game, but he didn't score. So that's okay, though. It's okay, though. He contributed. And obviously the score line didn't matter in the end for his performance, because he contributed to the team. No assists, no goals, but hey, he still deserves to start. His form is still hot.
Just to start recounting the game here, we're gonna start with the first half, just to start slow and then go big in the second half. I did see the replay for this game since I was watching the Dash game for the most part, and both Houston and DC, they get a few opportunities to get ahead in the game, and the one that came in for DC was the penalty shout. And I did see initially, before I saw the replay, I did see like a lot of reactions saying that it was like a pretty soft call. And after watching the replay, I feel like the penalty the penalty call was correct, only because the motion that Archer did towards Benteke, I feel like with his left leg he was able to impede Benteke's movement. So I feel like in that particular situation the call was correct. But I want to hear what OSG wants to say, since he's the actual referee here.
Well, I mean, my angle was also a direct 90 line of sight as well. The referee's going to be right here, and I'm looking this way from the press box. So I was in direct line of sight of it, and I did think it was soft when it happened and when it called, and he kind of fell. He was trying to lean on Arthur, and Arthur moved away, and he just kind of fell back. And you saw Arthur's arms moving, so it looked like maybe he might have pulled him down. But my first instinct thought, and the way it happened, was he just fell down. He was trying to lean on Arthur and gain leverage, because he's playing his feet and whatever, and Arthur moved. So it was soft, but at the same time, I thought he was off on the pass to him to begin with. Obviously, he wasn't, since VAR didn't call it, but whatever. He took the penalty, and I was like, "Oh god, here he goes. He's going to score a freaking goal." Okay, and he did. I expected him to score anyways.
No, yeah, it was pretty tough, and Steve Clark is definitely has to work on saving more penalties. But honestly, like it was a pretty tough shot, coming from Benteke.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, the half would end at 1-0, like only because DC had like a combination of luck and trying to close out the result heading to halftime. And yeah, just heading into the second half, just before you start getting excited and all that, I was like, especially in the Dash game, because during halftime I was able to like get some of the highlights, and I was like, I bet Houston's not playing that bad right now. It's just DC with some good luck. And yeah, the second half will start, and I just want to hear your reaction first. So, like leading up to the second half, what were you expecting us to do aside from the obvious adjustments?
Well, I mean, we got into halftime, and it was like, okay, I'm not worried about it. It's 1-0.
Yeah.
It was boring, but you weren't giving up nothing at the same time. They had a couple opportunities. You had a couple opportunities. So I was just like, okay, second half, all right, different story. We're gonna flip sides. Okay, well, cool. So it was just who's gonna make those mistakes? Who's gonna misperform? Because nobody was making mistakes. Actually, technically, just nobody could establish the game in the first 45 minutes. DC was obviously works the ball through Benteke, and he made and they were trying to push him over the top. We were able to stop him for the most part, and he earned that penalty. Good for him. So coming out of half, I was content still. I was ready to go and just see what was going to happen. We scored 6 goals in the last 3 games, so I was like, you still felt something was coming. There was still attack coming. Just can they put it behind the net, or not behind the net, but behind the line?
and the second half would start, and it would only take about 6 minutes for the next goal, and that was actually coming out of a penalty kick. Um, and the penalty was so obvious because the ball literally touched the DC defender's hand, and nobody
Yeah,
complained about it. And
it
I
was a
think
quick
it
call
was
too.
Bassi. I think it was Bassi that kind of forced the defender to do something about it, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't remember who forced the shot or the pass or whatever that was handling. Yeah, I just remember once it was immediately called that Bossy started running in to get the ball and take the penalty kick, and then he handed it to Sebas.
Yeah,
So
he
what
gave
a
it.
yeah
That's insane. Like he's our penalty kick taker, and
yeah.
he just gives the ball to save us. Like that's the team MVP right there, Bassi.
Because
Like people hate him for their reasons. I'm like, dude, Bassi plays his own way. Like he works behind the scenes, and he's gonna hustle like for 90 minutes. And this like this right here, like it just shows like why he's a team player and why I own his jersey in the first place. So like no hate towards him, man. Like it's just incredible.
Yeah, and he hasn't taken a penalty this year. This was actually the first penalty of the year for the Dynamo as well. So to after
Yeah,
taking seven last year or eight, I think it was seven, and this is the first one finally halfway through the season. And you like I was it was we were coming on my way to where the press box was. So when the penalty kick, I just had his in my peripheration, and I just saw him start running towards the middle. And the next thing I know is Sebas is taking the penalty kick, and I'm like, okay, cool, this is cool. Sebas needs it, bro. Sebas needs it. Sebas needs it. All right, I like this choice. I like this choice, and obviously this is a Ben choice, and it could have been a Sebas asking for it, and Basi say yes. So I need to go back and look at that and see if we can tell, just to tell the truth, because that's another shout out to Basi if it is that way. Hey, Sebas asking for it. Sebas needed it, bro, and obviously, what did it trigger? It triggered what happens in the future here. So you shout out to Sebas, shout out to Basi, and man, and then boom, the finish on the penalty kick. He took it. He took it like he's supposed to. Quit cheek. Don't be cheeky. Don't be lazy. Don't take any power off of it. Put it in the friggin' back of the net and make the keeper make the save. And he did that. Boom. I like it.
yeah. Sebas ties the game, second goal of the year. 3 minutes later, like Bassi would set up Sebas again to score a second goal of the game to put them ahead. And this play, you could definitely say like the way that it was set up, it was magical, and I could definitely say it is because it like Bassi set him up, and I love Bassi, biased, but man, what a pretty goal just coming off tying the game after 3 minutes. Like it for me, it was incredible.
In a situation with the ball at your feet in the box like that, shoot, 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 is the typical emotion from a Dynamo fan. And what does Sebas do? He's shot. What does everybody else do prior to this moment? Look for the next friggin' pass because the tiki taka calls for it. Not Ben, not Ben. Ben wants him to shoot. He wants him to play the tiki taka but shoot the friggin' ball. Sebas moves the ball around, takes two little touches, and then fucking shoots and puts it right in the corner. And he hits the target and he knows where the target is. We always know Sebas is a finisher. Get him the ball, and he's great at his feet, bro. He's great at his feet. He doesn't make the greatest runs, but if you put the ball at his feet, he'll trap it and he'll shoot it, and that's what he's great at. And he fits the Tiki Taka system if he plays the defensive side of the game. So I hope this is a tell and he keeps it up. We'll see Saturday if he gets another start against Charlotte, and I hope he does. I think he deserves it, coming off a hat trick as well. And maybe Bossy sits to bench and Seba gets a start, so that you're rotating and keeping everybody happy. So we'll see. But yeah, like you said, 2-1, bro. Like that was just a beautiful goal, and you asked for him, shoot, and he did.
Yeah, and that also marks the sixth assist of the season for Bassi, and I think he's tied with Aliyu in assists, unless he already took him over. I didn't check last time,
I think Aliyu
but yeah,
still won.
Okay, that makes sense. Go Aliyu, and Aliyu Army. And I just figured out the game like over the next 30 or so minutes. Like DC were trying to get back into it, and Houston was still trying to get back into it, or just like put the game, set up the game away from them, and this play like as soon as Brad Smith was subbed in,
Well,
like obviously,
hold on.
Yeah,
Yeah, so before that, I mean, the 1-1 penalty kick. So by then, the referee was making calls against DC, and I probably
yeah,
agree with like 50% of those calls. So it kind of set the mood for the DC players. The fans definitely were yelling and booing at the ref a lot, and I think it
yeah.
mentally changed the play for the DC, and they were defeated and they were beaten, and at this point, they started opening up the game and started pushing really hard to get into the attack. And that left their defense wide open. And it's hard to push like that against a defense like ours, who are not making the mistakes that they've previously been making. So at the 2-1 point, there was a big a universal change in the game that made a difference, made a big difference going forward from here on out as well.
And the thing that I didn't mention, and the thing that I feel like affected DC in a huge way, was the fact that Benteke was sent off at the 66th minute, and
Was that still
the
1-1?
way 2-1. That this was
2-1, yeah.
absolutely
So right here as we are. Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, and this like the way that Benteke handled the situation, it reminded me of last year when we hosted LA Galaxy, and Cáceres like was sent off because he touched the referee like after the VR review, and like it was a disaster for him because like he was like he got a yellow card because he pushed down Dorsey, a correct yellow card, and he after the referee showed the yellow card, like he will like Benteke literally got to the referee's face and he got a second yellow card. He
No, he
got
didn't.
sent off.
He did not get a second yellow card. He got a straight
Like straight
red.
red.
Yep. He got a
Like
straight
it's
red. So
still like
what he said,
yeah.
well, no, what he said is going to get him a fine because just uh, 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 dissent is a yellow. A straight red implies words were a little more aggressive than you would typically expect from a player in that situation. So, unless I missed that yellow, there was not a second yellow. It was a yellow for, like you said, and then he and then red came out of the pocket, straight red. So, I expect a
Oh
fine,
yeah.
and he's going to miss the next game. And then again, that helped with the DC players losing their mentality and the fans as well.
Like the way like the sequence of events, like it was insane because it all happened at the same time. Benteke didn't really have like a reason to push down Dorsey and then complain about it, and like that was a really selfish action from Benteke because he just set his team back and potentially lost the result.
Bro, as a coach, I'm so mad when my attackers foul defenders facing their own goal and going backwards, and you foul them. That gives them a free kick to get out. Let them make a decision to get out and let them force their way out. And like you defend. Why are you fouling the guy in the first place? He's going the wrong way, and you're 8 yards to 10 yards from the goal. Like, come on, bro. Like, yeah, you're right. It was stupid from Benteke.
Like it's ridiculous, and yeah, that pretty much kind of sealed the attack for the most part for DC, and just gave us the win the opportunity to get the win here, and we didn't really get into goal up until like Brad Smith was subbed on and started like threatening, and the 86th minute, like Brad Smith would set up Sebas Ferreira to score his third goal of the game, and no, like that must have been incredible watching it live. I'm sad because I wasn't able to see it live, but I mean I could only imagine your reaction and the reaction from like the search people that traveled to DC, like insane.
Absolutely friggin' insane, bro. And like I said, the DC was pushing up so much, we were countering back though, or the field was so wide open. Played the ball to Smith. He gives up there, and he doesn't cross the ball in the air. He passes the ball to Sebas across the field, and the defender is one step, just one step, misses it barely, and Sebas touches it and plays it same corner. What a finish! And then boom, he goes and celebrates. And let's point out, all right, he had 4 celebrations that night, right? Four different types of celebration. And this one's his, right? This one's his. But the arrow, when the entire team came over and did the arrow with Sebas, that went straight to the supporters, to the surge that were sitting up there. And we, granted, I was in the press box and they were 10 deep sitting up there, but we found fans and friends at the stadium that were wearing orange. I interviewed a couple prior to the game while they were just running around the stands, and they all came up and just started sitting with the surge and just enjoyed the game from that spot right there. And that's what it is. That's the love that we bring. And they didn't need to sit with the DC fans anyways. Come over there and enjoy the game. You're in a soccer stadium anyway, so the view is always going to be great. And then you get to enjoy a bunch of people who are singing and yelling and enjoying their time at the game and just having a friggin' great time. And then, like you said, 86 minute, 3-1, Sebas hat trick. Bro, going nuts now. Going nuts. Insane. Sebas hat trick. What's next?
And this stat right here, when they posted it that night, it blew me away.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he recorded the first world hat trick in Dynamo history.
Yeah.
Like, if you just think about it, you think about the players that we had in the past. Granted, we are pretty bad on the road historically, but you see the kind of players that we had in the past, and just see the players that were able to score hat tricks to just do it at home. None of them did it away, and it happens to be Sebas of all the players. Like,
he will forever be in the history books now until someone scores 4 goals on the road. He will also forever be in the history books because he also scored 3 goals in 1/2 on the road as well. So to eliminate him from the history books, you got to score 4 goals in 1/2 and 4 goals in a game to erase him. Yeah. So Sebas is part of history. I'm for it, bro. I'm for it. We like we said, we've been hoping that he can come back and perform, and this is opportunity. And boom, a friggin' hat trick, bro. A hat trick. You have to love to see it. And his performance in the first half was a little bit slow. You can see him looking for help, like when they're pressing and how they're pressing, who's covering where does he supposed to be? Because it is a little bit different than press than normal, especially the bin style press, because the where players are. Leo's higher, Bossy's lower, or Blessing's lower. So first half was a little bit slow, but he got into a groove and he almost finished the game. And I kind of said when he was subbed out, I was like, I wish this was a home game just so he can get the ovation and add to the confidence. And it was incredible because I can guarantee he couldn't hear the ovation he was getting when he was subbed out at whatever minute it was there at the end of the game. But he deserved it. He deserved it.
Yeah. He also died at the 89th minute. That was for Gabe Segal. Yeah. And this is also one of my other highlights of the game because Gabe Segal would just sub in for Sebas, and he would score the 4th goal in 6 minutes after he was subbed in. And I'm like,
off of Brad Smith again.
Second goal of the year for Gabe Segal and second assist of the year for Brad Smith. And I'm like, everyone is enjoying themselves tonight. Like, it's like perfect, almost a perfect game if it wasn't for the penalty conceded, but a great night, a perfect night.
What a finish, what a pass, boom, like you're supposed to do. And that's what you want from the Dynamo. And then the celebration. His mom was 30 yards away, right there on the wall, ready to say hi to her son, and he scores a friggin' goal. He's from DC, so this was a homecoming for him. think this was a homecoming for Steres as well, born in DC, to tell you the truth. So it was nice to see and special to see, and just like bro, and confidence booster for Siegel. He's 3-1, and he gets in the game, and then he scores immediately. So it was, like I said, good to see, and enjoyed the celebration, and that's a heart moment.
Well, yeah, 4-1 road win. I believe it's our fourth road win of the year, which already is over the last year's road win count, which is very nice. The 3 big points, whatever you like it or not, insane.
Insane, man. And the stadium was nice. Can't complain about the stadium. The field sucked. Can complain about the field. I don't know if the players ended up complaining about the field or whatever, but you could see the divots, and that it wasn't like grown properly or whatever. They're not taking care of it properly, so they need to work on that. I hope they hear this and let their field crew know. Step it up, bro. Like, come on, man. I don't know if y'all use it too much or what the excuse is, but I saw it as a fan, as a media outlet. The field sucked. So take it for what it is. If you don't like my opinion, then let it suck some more. But I wanted to I wanted to bring Sebas up, since Sebas was a big point for this game. I did not see a change in the style of play whatsoever. Now that we had a striker in the game, in difference from a false nine in the game. We still played the tiki-taka game. We still moved the ball the same way. You did not see no aerial crosses coming in looking for Sebas. And you saw him asking for the ball, too, at the same time. So we kept the style the same way, and we played more pass the ball amongst each other and work it way down to the box and try to get a shot off, even though there were opportunities to get a damn aerial cross off and find Sebas. Because if you can hit the target, he's got a great head. He will put the ball in the corner for you, and he'll put it on target. And he was asking for it, and a couple times he was open, and I was like, "Come on, bro!" But they haven't made that adjustment yet, which is understandable. This is his first start, and he's not integrated yet back into the team fully. So it's something to see if it'll improve. But I don't like you said, you didn't get to see it, so that was a difference to me. I didn't see a difference in the style of play with Sebas in there, so he adjusted to the way the team plays and made it work for him to his advantage, and he got the hat trick out of it. So Sebas that was a big yes for me from that game, and his attitude and his performance and adjusting to the team and to Ben's style. So it's a great yes. One game, yes as well. So we'll see what goes on from here on out with Sebas. But that was a very happy. Can't complain one bit about his performance and his attitude and his style and anything. And he played for the team and with the team.
Now, the way I saw it, like, he found the gaps and he was able to capitalize off of those. Could be like a DC issue, but like you said perfectly, like it didn't really like stood up to me if there were like any adjustments he made from the previous times we saw him play. And I think he keeps it up. I hope he keeps looking for those opportunities to strike, because this is a big confidence booster. No surprise, but we need him at this point, and he's going to have to like, pretty much kick it into overdrive, because we're going to bring in a striker next month, and he's going to have to compete for that spot again, depending on how long he stays. I hope he keeps performing. I always like competition, but Ezequiel Ponce is also coming in in good form, and he's pretty much set up to be the starter unless things change down the road.
So before we get into that part, also having him in the game, it opened up the width a little bit more, and we were able to play Blessing and out on that right side. Yeah, just no crosses came in, so that was a good sign to see that, hey, we got to focus more on the middle as well. So if we can continue this, that's going to open up friggin' Dorsey to go back to the way the Dorsey that we all love and see, to where he's just an attacking force from the defensive side of the ball. So, man, it's going to open up a door, man. It's going to open up a door.
No, honestly, great, perfect night again. I'd say.
Absolutely, bro. Trip was so friggin' fun, hanging out with the Sirs, like I said, going to the game, and I scootered around DC everywhere. Our Airbnb was 4 miles from Audi Field. I scootered to Audi Field and back from Audi Field, 24-minute scooter ride on a little e-scooter. That's what DC's like, man. You don't need the Ubers, you don't need the cars, you don't need to sit in traffic. You just run down the road, and they have bike lanes on every single road. You just follow them like you're driving a car.
Nice.
You follow the lights and everything. So it's worth it, man. Just seeing the history. And Ben Olsen also said like he got a mixed review. I saw a lot of people cheering him. He said he got some flicks, but whatever. He was. It was nice for him to be back in DC after the long time he had, the long tenure he had, and I'm sure it was even better to get that 4-1 victory and just friggin' destroy, DC. And like I said in one of my Instagram posts, we own DC. We own DC, and you know what I mean if you saw that post.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's a lot of happiness right there, and I just wish that that kind of happiness was available in the game happening in Houston, and that game being the Dash against San Diego Wave, because if you were able to watch replay, or even worse, if you were one of the ones that watched it live, it was a scoreless draw, and the entertainment didn't show up until like the last 2 minutes of the game, or I'd say like probably the last 20 minutes too. That's when Houston started just like pushing for the winner. And that game in particular, and I'm just gonna try to keep it short and sweet.
Yeah, let me just stop you there. Let's just the lineup that Dash came into this game. So you were getting Bachman back, and you thought you were getting Rubenson back, but as you posted prior to the game, Rubenson was going to be listed as out. You knew Kaiser was going to be out. You didn't know West was going to be out until you saw the availability report. So you kind of expected Alozi to get a start. So this game you had Ordonez and Andresa get a start, and it was Andresa and Oliveira on the field at the same time. So when I saw the lineup, I was kind of encouraged, and we were playing at home as well. I know against a tough San Diego team who Alex Morgan was deemed out, so we knew she wasn't going to play, which is fine. But I mean, they're still dangerous too at the same time, unless you look at the schedule, and they're past 6 games prior to this one. So, but I mean, looking at the schedule, you had our same back three. You're not going to see nothing different between Campbell, Tarcion, Jacobs, and Nielsen. That's not going to change right there until paternity chicks come back and start making a difference. Chapman was warming up with the team. To make that clear right there as well. So hopefully she'll be back soon. I'll have to ask Ferran that question if I can get into a presser or get Herman to do it. Asking about maternity players, whether Chapman, Katie Lynn, Ryan Gary's, are any of them on schedule to return this season? Hence, Chapman has been warming with Canada and now the team. Can we see any of these players back? So hopefully I can get an answer from him and see what he'll say. But you had Peter Patterson, Oliveira, Schmidt, Puttengam, with Puttengam getting another start because Rubenson's still out. Andresa Alves, Bachman, and Ordonez. I was like, dude, it's a nice lineup, bro. So, what happened at the start of this game, man? Tell me, Fox. What happened? First 15 minutes. What was the first 15 minutes like?
It felt like 2 years went by.
Oh,
like
Jesus.
it was just miserable. And I was, just to put into context, like I was also encouraged by this lineup because we've been seeing Olivieri getting more involved this year, and even though like Andresa hasn't been like starting out a lot, like she's been getting involved in her own way, and I was hoping she will start at this point, and she did this game.
Yeah.
And also we had like Bachman there, which I also feel like she was gonna be more involved, or at least like track back to assist with creating those plays, even though that didn't really happen a lot. And yeah, like the first 10 minutes, the the first 20 minutes, then 30 minutes, then 45 minutes. It just felt like, and like nothing really happened.
So in that first
The
half,
thing
where
for
was
me
the lack of creativity coming from? Because you know
from the
what
first half, like
yeah, because you know what Fran's style is, and you know what to expect the team to play like. So where was the lack of creativity? Was it the midfield? Was it the wingers, or was it the forwards not making the movement? What did you see? What part of the intangible sequence did you see missing in that first half that couldn't get us over the line?
really was the midfield because the top line wasn't really getting fed. The one thing that we are really lacking is just like that type of player that can just break in without having to rely on one of our players being open. And the way I saw it, like in the midfield, I just saw a, like Schmidt and Puntigam just consistently losing possession, and that could have been one of the factors of us just really not able to create those plays because the plays kept getting broken. The dash were just trying to throw out the long balls to see what would stick, and really the first half was just like a matter of let's see what happens, and nothing really happened.
Wow, sounds like it was pretty boring. And then I could see the notifications coming in, but I didn't click on them to read them incomplete, so I could only see whatever the notification would tell me. And I was like, okay, nothing's happening, nothing's happening, nothing's happening. Oh, Maria started. Okay, well, wow, nothing happened. So first half, what was the reception for Maria Sanchez into this game from the fans?
Like she was definitely booed and every time she possessed the ball. I can definitely see the reasoning because she left the team after signing an extension,
In an odd
and it's kind of like
situation.
what gives, like what gives, like obviously you have your choices, but at the same time, why even sign the extension to begin with? And 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 like a lot of sour taste everywhere, and there's also like the fans that still like her, which I respect them. Like, and she was a professional about it. After the game, she actually like signed autographs for all the fans. She actually stuck around, which respect for her. Um, and yeah,
Well, like we
that's
said,
as much as I can say.
we don't know the situation, the technical situation to why she wanted to leave. I mean, I think she might have hinked at it in one of those interviews, but I didn't go listen to that interview. So it could have been a situation that we really don't know about what was really happening behind the
Yeah,
scenes, and it didn't work out and didn't fit. So, and I'm glad she was professional. She stuck, like you said, stuck around and signed autographs. She like, I kind of would be like, oh, come on, really, really, come on, like you're not gonna, no, you have to sign autographs for in Houston, whether you're on the opposing team or not, bro. Like I want to see y'all signing autographs. Come to the fans and say hi and enjoy, and especially Maria Sanchez. They may have been booing her, and that's for the moment in the game, but everybody still wanted her autograph and say hi and take a picture with her after the game. So that's cool for her. But halftime, man, 0-0. All right, did we make a what were you expecting to be changed coming out of the second half?
I was pretty much expecting midfield adjustments, and
As
we
in
did get
substitutions or tactical?
yes subs,
Okay.
subs to later on turn tactical, and those didn't really happen like at the start of halftime. I feel like the timing could have been a little bit better since it took time for those adjustments to adapt to the game and make a difference. And we could probably get into the second half unless you want to add something.
No, man. I mean, like rolling the second half. Was it SSDD? When I'm pulling up the substitutions right now to see when we finally started making substitutions, and it doesn't look like it was until 60th minute. So the first 15 minutes
Yeah,
of the second half, take me into those 15 minutes. And did you see any adjustments that you thought might have been, hey, let's do this different, or was it the SSDD from the first half in the first 15 minutes before the subs were made?
the one thing that I saw different was that we pretty much had Andresa, Pontigam, and Barb like on their line, what Schmidt was behind. and we had Ordonez and Bachman up top, just to see if we were able to like start creating something in the middle. And I was like, okay, cool. Barbis is shifting back. Hopefully, we can grab another win. Like, hopefully, there's like an opportunity for her to make something happen along with her teammates. And that didn't really last up until the 60th minute when she was subbed out, and I was like,
Oh.
man, this is.
I think I did see that notification when you said that too. Like bars dropping back. Let's see if we can create more attack. Boom. And then, like you said, it's a Losey for Oliveri, and then Courtney Peterson for Puttingham. So obviously, we're trying to create some attacking, some more attacking into the tactics here, right here. So Alozi comes in and Peterson comes in. Did you notice any change right there? Obviously, I wouldn't expect anything immediately because 0-0 kind of sounds like it was a boring game at the same time. But did it help at all?
Well, it did help only the last 10 minutes when it really mattered. When you were hoping that things would just start clicking right away instead of waiting until the last minute. And 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 granted, like it might take time sometimes to adapt, but this really sucks for the timing. Like what if what if that adjustments could have been made probably like around 15 minutes in or before halftime? You know, like it could have been different, but no, like
Right.
it was just too late for me.
Because you had Alozi, you had Bachman, you had Ordonez on the field, and then you're adding Peterson, who's wing. You have Avery Patterson, who's still being a freaking beast over there on the right side and just giving every bit of effort that she can over there. So you're like, okay, this is attacking substitutions, and you expect to see more, and obviously it just nothing came through, and then. And he takes Andressa Alves out, which, come on, Alves, girl. Well, like, we've been promoting you trying to get starts, and the last two times you got starts, you haven't performed it at all. And Belbreed comes in. I think that's more of a defensive move, but she's central. So I understand that move at the same time. And then later, Yuki comes in for Ramona Bachman, and I think at that point, uh, he's just trying to salvage the tie. When you take Bachman out with 5 minutes to go and you put Yuki in, he puts in a defensive role, or did he? So I don't know. Like you're taking a lot off the field at the same time, unless Bachman was just tired and out of energy. I don't know. So how did you see the last? You said the last 10 minutes of the game was more exciting and more push. How did it happen and how did it occur?
A lot of credit goes to Yuki because she was one of the ones that started pushing the attack, and
Nice.
also one of the players that should have come in early instead of waiting to the 85th minute. But it is what it
Okay.
is. I just hope like Yuki gets to start like earlier next time, or like subbed in earlier next time. But yeah, like Yuki was pretty good. Like everyone in the city was like actually cheering for Yuki every time she was setting up a corner kick, and which is nice. But yeah, we kind
Well,
of threw out this result out of the window, honestly.
Well, that's good that Yuki performed well, and because I haven't seen her really performing too well and being too involved. So that's good that she actually had her good few minutes that she got to play and involved herself and tried to score a goal. Now, what happened at the last friggin' second, man? What the intensity of the game, obviously with extra time and the time's running out. And did we do another goal line save with Natalie Jacobs?
Yeah, I hated it, but like it's another like a goal line save out of nowhere, and I was ready to cry if that one went in because I'm tired of the dash just losing at the last minute. And thankfully, it didn't happen this time. We preserved a clean sheet for Jane Campbell. Um, yeah, but still, like I was more upset about the fact that we didn't really took advantage of this opportunity.
Yeah, we needed the 3 points because we're still sitting in 12th friggin' place with 14 points, and San Diego's got 15, sitting in ninth place. So that tells you what the 3 points could have done. 3 points puts you one spot away from the playoffs because it looks like they're going to do 8 this season for the playoffs. So, come on, man, you're right there. You just need 3 points. We don't play well at home still. Got to figure out how to play. Got to figure out how to play well at home, man. But things are going to change now because we go to KC on Friday. KC is one of 1, 2, 3 teams that are undefeated in the NWSL still so far. Sorry, 2 teams. I must have misheard whenever I heard somebody else say it. So good, I'm looking. 2 teams still undefeated in NWSL, and that's the Kansas City Current and Orlando Pride. And we go to Kansas City in their brand new stadium, and Patrick Mahomes and his wife's friggin' are the owners. So can we win on the road, and can we be competitive to interfere with the Kansas City Current and the season they're friggin' having, man? Got to knock them off. What do you expect from this game? Can you see us do anything as we finish up the dash segment?
It's a road game, so anything's on the table.
Yeah.
We'll see. I hope for the best, but I'm definitely scared of the Current this year because they've been scoring like 6 goals per game, 5 goals per game, and it could be us, but we can also score some goals and keep the game tight. But it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be a crazy game for sure.
It's going to be nuts, dude. It might be one of those, if we can score or find a way to score, it's going to be one of those high-scoring games. Because our 3-4-1-1 is going to be pushed on the brink of the defensive side to where we're going to have to put more defenders back there and just kind of see if we can build. We have to defend to start the game and see if we can build off and work our way against Kansas City and then take over the game that way. We can't just go into the KC playing our game from the whistle and try to bring it to KC. I think we're going to have to stop KC, adjust and counter and grab a hold of the game and then maintain the game to win this game. Otherwise, we might get destroyed, unfortunately. But that's it, man. I ain't got nothing else unless you have anything else you'd like to say about the dash. Unfortunate 0-0 draw, like you said, at San Diego. So the Maria return is failed. They didn't get the win. We didn't get the win. Whatever. It was fun. But you went to the press. Is there anything you'd like to add real quick to from the presser? Because I know you did say Avery Patterson had a very nice comment that I thought was very intelligent from a soccer player as well.
Well, she made several good comments, and obviously the one coming off Fran Alonso was the fact that they've been trying to make adjustments, which is a thing that we've pretty much been requesting since the dash have been kind of iffy when it comes to results. And Patterson, I feel like she laid out how this team performs, how they, as a unit, they understand each other, and also the way she's been playing for the most part. She got a hold of her special abilities just to be successful, and I feel like she's one of the best players, or at least since she's one of the rookies here, she's definitely one of the best players on the team, or at least one of the newest players.
She's one of the most important pieces for this team tactically.
And the other one was from Jane Campbell. I just wanted to kind of save that for whenever we discuss her news, if you don't want to add anything else.
No, that's it. That's it, bro. We'll walk into Jane Campbell. Segued.
Yeah, because this past week, it was officially announced by the club that Jane Campbell signed a 4-year extension with the Dash. And obviously massive news.
Not the Dynamo, right? The Dash?
The Dash, yeah.
Oh, okay. Damn, should have been the Dynamo. Should have been the Dynamo. I mean, Steve might retire after this year, so...
Yeah, I would definitely be okay with that. Like, just coming off the bench sometimes, so just rotating for Leagues Cup. But, no, yeah, she signed a 4-year extension, and she's been around with the club since 2017. And ever since then, she's pretty much like the first legend in club history, 100% for me. Like, just the fact that she was able to extend for that period of time is significant. She deserves all the respect she gets around the league. And obviously last year winning goalkeeper of the year.
Yeah.
And all that. It's incredible. and I'm glad she's staying.
And you say first legend, and people say, "Well, Rachel Daly," but you mean first legend. She started with the dash, and she's still with the dash. So
Yeah,
I agree. I agree with you. Original legend. So Daly's a legend as well. But yeah, Jane Campbell takes all the awards for the dash right there. Yes, legend status for sure, and she's still 4 years to go after this season. So I love it. USA.
and she's gonna get called up to the national team a bunch of times for sure, and it's gonna be because of her performance with the dash. So I'm glad we have her, and she's gonna be sticking around for a while.
For reals, for reals. But that's it, man. That's the NWSL update, bro. I think we need to get into the I want to puke moment.
Yeah, we have to get to it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Of course, that's Dynamo 2.
I think we should alert the people that are listening to this show. Just read Juan's article for this. Yeah. There'll be some quotes from the Foxtrot staff in this article. Just go read it. We don't want to talk about this game.
Honestly, yeah, like it's, and I guess like to put it into words, like some words, like we started winning, and then everything went south in the second half. So another
Isaiah Reed
tale of two halves.
Yeah, Isaiah Reed with a pretty goal 18 or 14 minutes into the game. Like, okay, all right. Nice. Silla's missing. Achara was missing because they're both hurt, so they were not available. Obviously, Exxon's out with his injury.
Missing,
yeah. So he might, if we can make the playoffs, we might see him again this year. Without the playoffs, don't even worry about Exxon. It's not going to even be necessary if you're not going to make a push. There's no reason for an injured player to come back even if he is ready. So, yeah. So it was your defense is there, your midfield is there. You don't know what's going to come from the offense. That's where it's missing always with Bundy. But you get one early, and you're like, okay, happy. Colorado sucks. They're not doing too well. All their players went to the first team, and the first team's doing pretty well in the MLS. So you're like, okay, this is an opportunity. You're at home. Beat this team. Get 3 points. Nope, doesn't happen. You score. You go up 1-0 at halftime, and then boom, give up 3 in the second half. You suck. It was just embarrassing to watch.
They turn it over. The issue with the chemistry, nobody's really connected, and really just setting themselves up for failure. And really, the goal that just made it obvious was the last goal when Isaiah Reed was just like got the ball nicked out of his like foot, and the Colorado just like literally walked to Sarah Valdez to put it past him, and I was like, "What? Come on, guys!
Yeah,
you guys are much better than this."
I was lucky enough to not be able to watch the second half because it was finally time to board my delayed flight. So it was like, all right, I turned it off with like 55 minutes to go, or 55 minutes into the so I think they tied, and then I had to turn it off. So I didn't get to see the rest of the game and how they epically failed. But I was not surprised when I saw the notifications and got the alerts finally. And like, come on, man, this is Jesus Christ, Dose. Which hence is the reason why I said what I said in the article. I think Kenny Bunny needs free reign now. He needs to be able to play these players the way, the style and the tactics that he wants to use, and use these players in the manner that he wants to use them. And I think that'll benefit their individual talent a little bit more than trying to play the Benny Ball system and fitting them to the first team. It's not working right now, so let's change the style up, see if they can play a little bit better, and then maybe they can, get a shot at the first team if they can improve. But yeah, those lost. We're kind of, something has to change
last
right there.
Place in the Western Conference.
Yeah. And no hope to get out of it.
Yeah, if they make playoffs, it's gonna take a miracle and pretty much winning out all their remaining games because they're already at the halfway point. So
a miracle.
Go Dynamo 2. Yeah.
Let's go. We need a miracle, y'all. Early Christmas present.
Honestly, not anything really. But yeah, guys. as always, we close out this episode at
99.
Man, like episode 100 is gonna be next week. It's gonna be good. There's gonna be a couple surprises here and there, but you guys are gonna have to catch that episode to see what's up. So probably stick around during the weekend, see what happens. But I know for a fact that's gonna be big.
Yeah, and then of course we'll have an instant ramen with Charlotte this week to preview the game coming up on Saturday against Charlotte with Dynamo. So we'll give you a heads up and see what's going on there, and let you know, give you an insight to our opponent. And we have not beaten Charlotte, so we need to definitely get this win at home this weekend. We'll have Dash on Friday night, like we said, so we'll get to watch that one on TV and report that one, and then we'll do Dynamo on Saturday. I'll be in Houston for sure. I'm not sure if Herman will be there with me. I'm pretty sure you'll still be in Austin, but you'll be active on Twitter. So, as you know where to follow us, we tell you every week. So, follow, subscribe, rate, comment, let us know what's up. Episode 100, too. So, if you're listening this week, you got any ideas? You want us to shout out somebody? Omar, bro, I know you probably listening to Dynamico and not us, but, shout out, bro. Yeah, you're a little bug in my ear this weekend, but hey, bro, appreciate you hanging out with me and getting to check out all those sites on what Friday night it was, and doing that. That was, the whole weekend was a freaking blast. But I digress. I'm done. I'm ready to throw some H's up.
All right, guys, as always, everyone that's watching and listening, we appreciate your support. And of course, as always, keep sharing our stuff. Whatever we posted, either be like Twitter, Instagram, at Dynamic Foxtrot, at Noodle Tiempo, and of course our podcast available on YouTube, Ghost TV, and pretty much all the mainstream audio platforms that you have. So, as always, guys, like I said, thank you so much for your support, for tuning in.
Noodle Time is logging off, and Dynamico is logging on. So if you just listen to this one, now you got to switch up your language and go to the next one. And Fox will probably do a Thanos flip or something, and then you just got to switch to the next link. Right?
All right. I guess, yeah, but they're going to have to click a separate one. Since
you're going
to... We'll have it there. Yeah. As always, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, and stay noodle, y'all.
Stay noodle, man. H is up.